domestic animals are raised by owners. Now, you know that at different realms, right? Even within the animal realm, there are different levels of consciousness, okay? And therefore, different karmic retribution. So there are oxen, horses, pigs, sheep, and the like. And Master, some time ago, talked about insects. Do you know that, I shared this with you, but just a pure reminder, do you know, for one human being, there are 200 million insects, and let alone animals. And if you were to go to New Zealand, for example, one human being is, I don't know how many ships there are over there. So maybe one human being to 10 ships or whatever the case may be. So if you were to look at this in the context of proportion, there is a lot more animals compared to the human realm. So from that context, one can then realize that the karmic retribution of going down to the lower realms is very great. And that's why I always Master always say this, remind us and say that it is very rare indeed. The first to be born in a human. Number two is to encounter the Dharma. So all animals receive that retribution because of speaking flattery, having inferior capabilities and ignorance, taking no joy in seeing and hearing the Dharma, and courting slander. We'll come to that in the next slide. So, Master's explanation. Hell is filled with unbearable suffering. There's no freedom at all in the animal realm, and hungry ghost realm is full of suffering. So opportunity to cultivate will not arise. You see, if one then understand the cyclic existence, cause and effect, we, especially one who is exposed to the Dharma, would not want to have rebirth in the lower realm, because in that realm, it's very difficult to rise back to the human realm until and unless all the karmic retribution has been purified to deserve to be born a human. Even if born in a human realm, that state of the first rebirth is not going to be. It's still going to be painful, and until life after life, that is only cleared. Maybe in one day when the time permits, I will explain a little bit more why certain children are born the way they do, monk-like children and things like that. That's reason for all these things. And Master has also explained why they are born and the way they do. So domestic animals are kept and raised by humans. They have an owner. Beings in the animal have no freedom at all because they're being owned and they come out what they do. And you look, I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos about animals being put in a slaughterhouse. They don't have a choice in that life, and they're slaughtered the way they do. So I may have shared one story some time ago, sometime in the early last year, this was a case of this lady, young maiden, who wanted to commit suicide, and the master. So happened that a master passed by and knew that she was going to jump off into the river, and asked her why she's so sad. And so she related to him what happened, and he said that, look, my husband would come back very bad-tempered. When I serve him meal, when late, he's get angry. When it's too early, he's angry. So whatever he said, he always get beaten up. So this master advised her what to do. So when she went back that evening, and you know what, she didn't cook. She didn't cook at all. So obviously she got whacked and got beaten up, and so the husband realized that, why is she like that? And so I asked her, why are you not reacting? Why you're not, you just let me beat? And oh no, it's okay. I've learned the reason why you want to beat me. And and he stopped for a moment and said, "You're crazy." So keep beating her. So she then said that in the past life, you were a mule When you walk too slow, I beat you. When you walk too fast, I beat you. So Sandra's husband doesn't realize, oh my goodness, in the next life she's gonna beat me up again. So that's this story of karmic retribution. So we should indeed make an effort to cherish our human existence to make changes in life. So no matter how much you suffer, human life is a mix of good and evil. And so therefore, there's a reason why we take on the Dharma, and we have to learn from this so that we be mindful of the way we behave. Thus, of the six realms, it's only the humans that we possess a personal freedom and free to choose the kind of life we want to live. And that's a power that we have. So therefore, even if some, I think I shared with you all, you see yesterday, day before, I can't remember now, even though we have a certain fate in our life that is fated to be, you can change your destiny. And that's because of the power to choose. Okay, so therefore we create good relationships and so on and so forth to be in our practice to get out from that. So therefore, if you remember the four lessons of Lao Fan, that is what happened to him. He was supposed to die at the age in the 50s, but he lived until 75 because of his past karmic retribution. But he undertook and this and heard about the Dharma, and he practiced, and how that faith, when he changed it to faith, he was able to change his destiny. So the painful retribution, why do beings end up in the animal realm? Because their causes are created in the past. So sometimes there's the way we are treated, by friends or by in a family and so on and so forth. It's all due to our past karma. So I used to tell this the story to Moon, and I still remember in the early years when I actually explained this. It's not easy for people to accept it, but if you understand the Dharma, you listen the Dharma, you grow in acceptance and you make peace with it, and that's what life is. That's the way it is. So the life will flow. So you try to accept what it is, but more importantly is what you're going to do about that. That is a choice we have to make. One is that we fight against it, we create all karmic seeds, or we accept it, we make peace with it, or we change ourselves. And these are the things that we have to really then contemplate. What is it that we see in our life for us to change, to accept, and to change? So those who slander the Sutra cut off the seeds of Buddhahood. When you cut off the seeds of Buddhahood, this was a question that Sister Carping asked me a few days ago. I'll explain this later. But the seeds of cutting of Buddhahood means someone was born in a lifetime. You cannot even encounter the Buddha. You can't even listen to the Dharma, even if born in the human realm. You don't even have the chance to encounter the Dharma. So that is a very a severe retribution. And that's why for one to listen to the Dharma, one must have earned many lifetimes to have this deserving factor to be able to listen to the Dharma. Not only that, to listen to a Dharma from a great master, that is even higher. So therefore, especially in this Dharma degenerating age, and it's getting more and more rare. So therefore, we got to really appreciate that and cultivate in the earnest. Now, for us as a householders, there are two very easy traps that we fall into. One is carelessness. The other one is indolence. Okay, Master mentioned about indolence. Okay, carelessness, Master always refer to it as being mindful. Okay, but I divide that into two parts: being aware and mindful. Okay, so but even though how much we do this, but very often, based on my observation, whilst they say they listen to understand that, but they come to practice, it's no longer there. So as we learn the Buddha's way, we must be mindful. As people interact, there are no causes and do not form and that do not form condition, and no condition do not bring effects. So when things must happen according to causes and condition. Without the condition, there cannot be effect. So therefore, if you understand this, when the condition does not arise in this life, for example, we practice the best we can, and at the end of the day, obviously, we are not afflicted. Whatever life becomings that form to us, we accept it and we purify that. But we must also bear in mind that we shouldn't then at the end of the day think that, oh, I've cleared all my karmic seeds. There's plenty of them in the karmic storehouse in the air consciousness. That's because this condition hasn't arisen in this lifetime. So therefore, there's still a lot of karmic seeds we do not know because the condition haven't happened. The same thing when you have a seed and even the plant that it will germinate a seed, you don't put it in the soil, you don't give it nourishment, the seed will not germinate. So it's very much the same way. The seed will just hibernate. So therefore, because always mindful. But what's going to happen is this, and this is, I can share you a bit, certainly not only to support the Dharma that I hear, but certainly based on my experiential learning, is that as you cultivate more and more, your conditions will change. And as the conditions change, more subtle karmic retribution, more light becomes will come. So therefore, when we do this life, when Master say cultivate earnestly means you got to purify. So therefore, this life, you either choose to only purify your cause, dharmic afflictions, or you cultivate to precision, so that even a dust light delusion, you want to clear as much as possible. And that's what it is. So if we had not created negative affinity with people in the past, there would not be evil people trapping for us. And this is about creating affinities. So all these animals that different types of animals that being born in the past life, they were flatterers or inferior capabilities and ignorance. So those who listen to teachings and commit slander can cut off the seeds of Buddhahood. We must be vigilant not to do these things. And therefore, and the hells, there are different levels of hell. That's like I said yesterday, there's a cold hell, there's hot hell. Okay, so but the VC hell is the worst of all these hells. So in contemplation, I feel I prepared a very short one because I thought I'm going to have a lot of time. Embracing your retributive karma, a humbling experience. Embracing your retributive karma. So therefore, that's the reason why when you walk the path, being humble, gentle, and be simple, and then it is easy for you to embrace a retributive karma, and we do will be humbling experience. But that can enable you to find inner peace. And that's what we want to have, because irrespective, when you have that inner peace, irrespective of what the condition outside is, you still have your inner peace. So there is illumination within you. So that's why you look at Master. I mean, it's always so calm. And that because he has the inner peace. So when there is none outside. So in relationship, family relationship, one cannot run away from one's karmic responsibility or retribution. The strength of one's practice is therefore from the fortitude of maintaining peace and harmony in the family amidst your spiritual practice. So sometimes, oh, I don't have time for spiritual practice, I don't have this, I don't have time, don't come and disturb me. But spiritual practice is actually part of maintaining harmony in the family, and one got to realize that. And what's the best way to apply what you learn in your life than to how you get along with your family? Only then the life of a worthy disciple in cultivation is at ease and in peace and in accord with the way. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Chin, for the wonderful sharing. Yes, before Brother Chin